Welcome to 108 Gate. Divine Feminine reading is up. It's quite emphasizing emotions, emphasizing self-talk, emphasizing energies that we need to pay attention to. So, Nine of Cups upside down. Usually this one is showing abundance, an abundance of assets, an abundance of self-love, an abundance of all that which is we've worked for. So this is Divine Masculine reading. Being called to use these cards first because there was something off. So it being upside down, it feels like you've just this certain point, like a breaking point has occurred of like, yes, I keep going, yes, I keep going, yes, I keep going. It's like, what's the point? What's the value in all this? What's the actual point? And losing faith and trust in the bigger picture. Easy to do. Coming back from that, bringing it back to, I have faith in this, I have trust in that. Sometimes we just have to give ourselves that moment. And I feel like this is what the Divine Feminine reading was about, is going into that silence within yourself, just being quiet in your mind, being quiet in the moment, and see what are the emotions, what are the sensations. If you haven't already checked it out, I would highly recommend you check it out, just because of the things that were coming up were quite questioning certain things in a certain way, making sure you're looking at it in the correct dimensions, in the correct way. Right, so we've got Sunshine and the King of Swords. How much of it is topsy-turvy because we're not seeing things in the correct way? So we did have the Hangman in the Divine Feminine, so this is interesting. So this is feeling like the Hangman, the things need to be shifted around, the perspective needs to be turned around. And this is feeling as though it's kind of clarifying that, but it's also supporting that in, if you keep seeing yourself as in like, I've done all this work and I've got nothing from it, you're not going into the deeper space of having faith and trust. Why can't you have faith and trust in that there's something bigger coming for you? Why can't you have faith and trust in that there's something greater that you are achieving and that you're doing? Why can't you feel the higher value of what you're doing? And this is not saying that you don't. It's saying it's those moments of when we trip up and we lose hope. It's those moments when we kind of feel down from something or about something. We kind of lose our grip on being hopeful about stuff. We lose that sense of optimism. It's not that it's always happening this way. It's those moments of, we want those moments to be less and less and shorter to nothing. There are going to be those moments when you just feel like your work is just going into nothing, or you feel like you haven't seen the results yet, but you kind of, because you haven't seen the results yet, you can't hold on to the it's coming, I can feel it coming. You kind of, it gets exhausted, and it's like, this is just taking too long, and you lose hope, you lose grasp of the optimistic part of it. So King of Swords is coming in with clarity around this, clarity around it is part of the process of when you're working on something for so long. I just need the results to change. I need some indication, please, that something is going in the correct direction. And then we have the Sun coming in. So the Sun coming in to say you are going in the correct direction, but you've also got to acknowledge where you're leaving behind the incorrect direction, and that possibly can be tugging and pulling you in certain ways because your commitment to certain things is shifting and changing. So as we do that and we're going into a new territory, we're going into a new terrain of emotions, of a new inner space, it is usual and possible that we kind of getting a bit scared, we're getting a bit worrisome, we're getting a bit stressed possibly. It's unknown what we're stepping into possibly. You could be considering or contemplating some significant life changes. So measuring out, are you actually going into these life changes and it's a threat because it is a threat, or are you going into these new life changes and you're feeling it's a threat but it's actually not? Seeing the benefit of it. Have you done your pros and cons list? Have you done your optimistic, realistic kind of analysis of things. So here we've got the Eight of Wands, giving yourself that boost of communicate to yourself truthfully, communicate with yourself in a way which you don't have to be speaking it to someone else. You don't have to be saying it to anyone else. You just need to speak that truth to yourself. If someone's really hurt you, someone's pissing you off, someone's or something is really aggravating you because you feel like you're putting this work in and you don't feel like you're getting anything from it, say that to yourself. Allow yourself to acknowledge it. It's then, well, how do I move on for my higher good for this? How do I move on from this into the correct direction, into alignment with my higher self? How do I move on from this in a way which is beneficial to me? And there you have the Fool. Just keep looking at the sunshine, optimistic, realistic perspective, like your ability. So this is why, if you haven't looked at the Divine Feminine reading, if you haven't watched that yet, definitely go into that, because there was the card of having a snake around her wrist and she's smelling the flower. And it's like she doesn't understand that that the value of being able to smell the flower. She picked up the flower, even though the snake's there. She's taking that moment to smell the flower. That alone, how much value does that have? Just taking that moment to see, I do have certain things going in my favour. I do have this and this going in my favour. Start getting the wheel going back up that hill. Start moving the wheel back up the hill. Or back up another hill, whatever it is, or another wheel. The second wheel has to go up the hill, and knowing that you still got 2 more wheels to get up that hill, it's like, right, I'm getting exhausted, I'm getting tired. Is this actually worth it? I'm actually putting all this time and effort into something that's going to give me fruit for my labour. Is it going to give me something that's going to be beneficial in the long run? So you got the Five of Wands here. This is the battle that's ensuing within yourself. It's that battle to continue going on the correct direction, in the correct direction, for the correct reasons, and making sure that you're sensing that, you're feeling that, and you're connecting with that. Like I said, the Divine Feminine really is taking a moment to be still. We started that reading with a deep, quiet breath first. Steady self. What do you feel? What are you feeling? What are your sensations? Where are they coming from? Where within you are they? Where are those screams? Are there those silent screams of painful agony? Those are the things coming up to be cleared. Those are the things that are coming up that have been stuck and lodged in your energy field for so long that they need to come up and out so they can be transmuted into better energies for your benefit. Right, so here we go. Knight of Serpents, seeing greater value in where you're heading, seeing greater value in where you're going. Why are you going in that direction? You might not know, and that's part of the frustration. That's part of the not seeing the value of certain things. It's like when you're trusting your instinct and intuition on another level, which you haven't for a long time, it's going to bring up some questions. It's going to bring up some things that you might not quite be sure how to maneuver with. So strength, words of love, making sure that you're speaking to yourself kindly, gently, with that optimism that you'd want. How would you speak to a child? How would you speak to younger you? How would you speak to someone if they're a bit vulnerable and scared about something right now? Talk to yourself in that same way. Give yourself that same encouragement and love. Give yourself that same attention. If it comes up that you've been wanting that from someone else and they're not giving it you, or they didn't give it you and you didn't get it from the source you wanted it, this is a chance to change it. And it's like, well, give it to yourself. This might sound strange to some people, but it's coming up as if you saying that to yourself feels as though it's of less value than if someone else is saying it to you. This is the kind of stuff that needs to be switched. You having the ability to support yourself, you being self-sustaining, is immeasurable. The power and the strength in that is immense. So really having a closer look at that and be helpful to yourself and allow yourself to receive the kindness from yourself, receive the encouragement from yourself. And on some level it does feel like, well, then it doesn't mean anything, does it? I'm not being acknowledged in some way that you need to be acknowledged. I'm not being approved of, or I'm not being supported in the way that I need it. But maybe that is divine going through you as you are a conduit for yourself. If you're doing that and you have done that for others multiple times over and over again, What about you actually doing it for yourself, through yourself? What better support do we need than the divine? So, that seems like a really direct message. I'm going to leave it there. Personal readings, 108gate@gmail.com. In the Divine Feminine reading, I had a flash of February 2024 readings. Not sure what that's about. It should be coming up as we're at the middle of January, but at the same time, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a little while, but I will let you know when they're up. January's readings are up for now, so you can take advantage of those, utilise them, and for now, till later, peace and love.